No, 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 that was too many songs. That was too many songs. Okay, hey, welcome to the Space and Rocket Review. Space and Rocket Review. You two girls, tell your friends. Space and Rocket Review. Hello. What's going on, everybody? This has Halo 2 Linkin Park replacement music energy. I know, I do like it. It's pretty good. Yeah, good stuff. One night only. Every night. Not the Blues Brothers, the guy in the blue shirt. I'd like to speak to the manager. All right, yep, here. Let me just dial *1 there. There's your manager right there. Yeah, so why don't you suck on that? All right, cool. All right, I got all the... You want to talk? You want to talk to the manager? I am the manager, son. You done? That music reminds you of Dynasty Warriors 3, 4, and 5. Hey, Ray, what's going on? Okay. All right, are we ready? 555, you're done. I take your manager and raise you Brimo the boss. Brimo would time you out. No, Halo 2 Linkin Park music. The music they replaced it with in the anniversary edition. Oh, that. He bends over and speaks from his rear. Oh, him. Here, take it. I don't need it anymore. This took you 80 years to achieve! Flyboy, I've missed so much of the SpaceX talk lately. How much of the launch pad was destroyed with that explosion a few weeks ago? Yeah, like all of it. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say like 66.66 repeating. Yeah, there's not a lot. There's not a lot left. Yeah, most of the stuff got, so, Flyboy, what happened is they had an explosion, right? And the methane tank exploded, and all the methane combined with all the liquid oxygen after the LOX tank popped too, but all of it combined with all of it, and then there was, because they were using LOX as the ballast tank, when the LOX tank blew, it made a nice big old explosion, but it made a nice old explosion, but it also made a tidal wave of liquid oxygen that basically like did a lot of damage. Yeah, the tidal wave of LOX was not great. Yeah, that broke a lot of things. And like the thing about liquid oxygen is that when it pops, if you have a tidal wave of liquid oxygen coming at you, oxygen's very reactive. And when it's combined with anything that's even remotely flammable, heck, liquid oxygen makes things that aren't even normally flammable, pretty damn flammable. The fire basically, like if it touched anything that was even remotely hot, it burnt it immediately. Like immediately. It burnt it to a crisp and then froze it, like right after. And metal doesn't like that. Metal doesn't like that. Yeah, so they basically, the whole pad's toast. Or the whole test stand is toast. I'm trying to find you a picture, that's why, Oh, I was scrolling through the feed. What's going on here? What's going on from airline videos? What is this? What's going on here? Ah! No! 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 Atlas! That's not. Yeah. If you ever wonder what a 747 carrier landing looks like, that's pretty damn close. That's Whoa, getting a little rowdy there. Getting a little rowdy there. Damn. That's sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. Sync rate. Pull up. So yeah, you got one? Yeah. No, there was a shot that was linked the other day of the whole thing. So yeah. I mean, Flyboy, take a look. Like, see how all this looks like it looks like something froze to it. It looks like frost. That's because the liquid oxygen basically cooked the whole thing, and it cooked the umbilical. Like, it cooked it and then froze it, which is, yeah. So a lot of stuff rusted out really, really fast because the things that didn't burn. I mean, I don't think there's a better way to oxidize metal and turn it into iron oxide than pouring liquid oxygen on it. Pull that, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, yeah, see? So, like, yeah, this is an RGV aerial picture. This is good enough. Like, look, so the tidal wave of liquid oxygen went all up in here. All up in here. Look what it did to the vaporizers. Because those things are hot, right? They're a heat exchanger to keep stuff cool when they flow propellants around, basically. So those things are super hot. And when the liquid oxygen tidal wave hit it, it made such a fiery hot explosion. It burnt the paint off of the backside of the tank here and here. See that? It burnt the paint completely off. Yeah, so this is all, everything here is basically toast. Look, some liquid oxygen came down here and it burnt the bottom of the water tanks here, or the sides of the water tanks. And like, look, you could see where the splash hit, right? And then it caught on fire and burnt the paint off and then froze it. Very weird phenomenon, to be honest with you. Yeah. Also, with this picture, we should be able to see there's some of the ship right there. There's some of ship 36 right there. There's some, there's a piece right there. See where that pipe is? That's another piece. If you look over here on this side, there's some over there. That might be the nose cone, maybe. There's another piece right there. Some pieces got some pretty good distance. So yeah, this thing basically, if it hit anything that was even remotely flammable, it lit it on fire and then immediately put the fire out and froze it, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, you ever wondered what a tidal wave of liquid oxygen does to things? Yeah, there you go. It's pretty bad. And anything that survived it is now rusted to heck. Like completely rusted out. But yeah. Vaporizer, I barely knew her. The difference between rusting and burning is reaction rate, honestly, as Thermite can attest. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on. But Flyboy, SpaceX actually has been they're taking one of Starship's old transport stands, beefing it up, and they're going to attach it to suborbital pad A, or not suborbital. They're going to attach it to orbital pad A or 1 or whatever, that pad. They're going to attach it to the donut. And SpaceX right now is hot rodding the booster quick disconnect on pad A or 1, and they're hot rodding it, and they're to fit a ship quick disconnect. And the ship quick disconnect that they're using is left over from suborbital pad A. Yeah, one of the suborbital pads that they used to launch the landing tests on, they had 2 ship quick disconnects. One was at Massey's and in use, and that one's not available anymore. Yeah, that one's not available. I don't think they found a piece of it. You know. That's this pad, not that pad. That pad is pad B. Yeah, so it's this pad. Yes, that's correct. So yeah, SpaceX is hot rodding the here, I can show you a live shot from our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight. Here, take a look. So if you look right behind my melon right here, they're attaching stuff to the top of the quick disconnect. See that? See all this architecture that they're working on right there? And right there, they're just mounting a ship quick disconnect on top of the booster quick disconnect, and then they're going to put a stand on top of this, and then they're going to use that for testing. That's also a water truck. You can tell it's non-potable water because of the way it is. Milk step. Yeah. Yeah, see, that was a water truck right there. So if you're wondering what's going on here, they're drilling the pilings for the Gigabay. SpaceX's new integration bay for building starships and super heavies. It's like, I think in terms of volume, it's like 4 of those mega bay. No, more than that. Maybe 8 of those mega bays. Definitely not 1202, but no. Would you test the next 2 ships if possible while you have the new stand and before the conversion for flight? I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to, huh? Right? Like, that would streamline operations, David, for sure. Right? You would definitely want to do that, right? Like, yeah, test ship 37 and 38, put them in back-to-back testing regimes, and that's less reconfiguring the pad, because Massey's will be good by the time flight 10 or 11 happens, right? I don't see why not. I think that's actually a really good idea, because it's very clear that these modifications aren't really the modifications aren't really supposed to be something that's it's a very interim thing, the modifications that they're doing to the to this pad, not that pad. Right side is now they can rebuild Massey's directly for Block 3. Yeah, Kate. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I said that they would just retool Massey's as quickly as possible. And people did ask me right after Ship 36 exploded. They did ask me, do you think they'd put it on top of pad A or this pad? And I'm like, nah, they wouldn't do that. That's going to interfere with launch operations. Well, frick, what I know, I guess I'm wrong. I mean, I'm not mad. Like, that's actually super cool to see them actually just hot rodding a freaking pad. Now, I do think Massey's is going to get done sooner rather than later, but yeah, I didn't see that coming. Can you explain the Falcon 9 twilight effect we see in the sky? Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe, yeah, absolutely. That's really easy. That's an easy one. So, okay, right. So here's the Earth. Just chilling. Okay. So the sun is over here. Right? The sun obviously casts light, right? And because Earth is curved, right, the light goes this way, right? So over here is dark, right? He's very dark. We'll just say dark, right? Okay, following? So it's dark over here. You have the thing, there's a thing called the terminator. Terminator is where the sunlight stops, okay? The Earth will eclipse some light, so that's nighttime over here. When a rocket launches just past the terminator, so like say your launch site is right here, and the rocket launches and it goes up that way, right, to orbit around Earth. Let's draw the trajectory in blue or something. So there's a difference. When it launches up, if you're watching it from over here, right? right? You're in darkness, right? But when the rocket goes up, it's being backlit by the sun. And it's backlit from the sun, you could see this big old plume effect that happens, right? Because the sun is illuminating the plume, like shining a flashlight in fog, or using fog lights on the highway. Same idea. Yeah, that's what's going on. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's some of this really, it's some of the coolest flow phenomenon ever. But like, what launch ops until they test the ship? Yeah, I know. I was like, that's why I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe. I'll admit my guess was long for July 27th for Massey's. I I'm pretty sure that I'm incorrect on Massey's, but I said that they would take a month to retool Massey's for ship 37 and ship 38. If they're going to retool Massey's for block 3 ships instead of block 2, right? It's going to take a little bit longer, I think. I was wrong, but for the right reasons. Can you give me that one? Can you give me that? I was wrong, but for the right reasons. Yeah? Yeah. It's the end. The end. If SpaceX had retooled Massey's for Block 2 ships, they probably would have gotten it done quick. But they made the decision to get it redone for Block 3. And if they getting it redone for Block 3, a ship that doesn't exist is going to take a little bit longer. And there's also no rush, right? What would happen if the New Shepard capsule landed on top of the booster? It landed pretty close last flight. The likelihood of that happening is slim and none, Ator. You would need sub-centimeter, well, actually, let's say sub-meter precision to get that thing to land back on top of the capsule. Or get it to land back on top of the booster with New Shepard. It did come close on the what was it, the NS-33 mission? I missed that one. It was on the weekend. Yeah, Ship 36 made that decision for them. I mean, yeah. Yeah, hey, roll with the punches, man. That's the right move. Are you going to go to Starbase to watch the first ship catch? Yes, I will probably do that. Yes. Yeah, we should do that. That's a good idea. How do you say your name? Is it Javi NYT? Or is it Haveen YT? Or is it Javeen YT? Just I don't want to be up here pronouncing your name wrong for like, because we're having a conversation. I don't want to sit here and say it wrong for like the next 20 minutes. Road trip, one of the fun cars. Nah, anything is fine. All right, Javi. All right, Javi's fine. Javi it is then, bro. I mean, Spoon, I'm not trying to say I'm tooling up the Coronet to be a pretty, really, like, solid road trip vehicle, but I don't think I think the ship catch is going to happen before I can finish that stupid thing. But yeah, okay. I will precurse this with saying that I am a gigantic space shuttle fan. I love the space shuttle. Okay. That is by far and away my all-time favorite launch vehicle. It doesn't even come close. That thing is just the stuff of dreams, dude. Super cool. Now, couple of things here. I love the space shuttle because it existed. Because it's a thing. This is somebody's Kerbal idea come to life, so to speak. I mean, Starship is too, for what it's worth. If I had to choose between keeping the Saturn V or doing the space shuttle, I would choose the Saturn V. That being said, I'm super happy because that the shuttle existed. It is an awesome vehicle. Okay? It goes up into space, sends people up there and cargo, comes back down, quote unquote, reusable, right? With all that being said, the second SpaceX gets a ship and booster back, so like, there's a booster that delivers a ship up there. The booster comes back down, gets caught. They set it down, and the ship comes and they catch that thing, and then they put it down right next to it. I think I can let my love for the shuttle go. I think I can let it go because that's amazing. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I've always said that if SpaceX once they get a ship and a booster back. They don't even need to reuse it. Once they get them back, I think I can let it go. Sound like you're grieving. The shuttle was taken from us too soon, and it was operated by idiots. I lament the loss of the Apollo applications program and what Saturn Apollo legacy hardware could have gotten us, but I celebrate the shuttle's triumphs, for sure. Ship catch or GTA 6 first? Oh, that's tough. I'm going to say ship catch. I'm going to say ship catch. I agree. The shuttle left a painful hole in its absence. Dan, can you imagine if NASA just kept operating the shuttle in conjunction with commercial crew? Can you imagine how cool that would actually be? How cool that would have been for the shuttle to keep, doing maintenance operations on the space station, launching new modules, bringing modules back down while commercial crew was doing its thing. We could have redundant dissimilar architecture. We could have triple redundant dissimilar architecture. Just saying. The last shuttle was July of 2011. Do you think we would have Starship if we still had Saturn V and never did the shuttle? There's too many variables, goalie. Let it go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Indiana, let it go. Let it go. Where's the cup of a carpenter? The cup of a carpenter. Indiana, let it go. It's pretty cool. The booster in that center video always returns precisely on point. How in the world did you pull off that? Plane shifter, dude. I know the physics behind how that works. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't NASA or anything. I'm just a guy that likes space flight, okay? With all that being said, here, I got a better view for you if you want. Watch. I bet one day there will be a better shuttle. Yeah, you're looking at it.
Yes.
Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Watch this. This is probably the coolest thing that I've ever seen. I was standing next to the guy filming this.
Fly, baby, fly.
See, that's me. That's me.
Do the thing. Yes, come on.
Oh.
Seeing some paper on it.
Oh,
Come on, baby.
come on, light it up. Yeah.
You got a light.
It's coming down. It's coming down.
Come on.
Oh, it's slowed way down. Down to 3 engines.
Come on, bring it on home.
Dancing over there like
like it's nothing.
Come on, baby.
Yes!
Oh my. Oh my.
It's pretty good. How does it happen? I don't know, man. But I've seen it. And it was pretty good. That was Flight 7. That was Flight 7, dude. That's, yeah. That was my first Starship launch, dude. I'd never seen one go before. It is wild, dude. That's just, it's all pre-programmed. Yeah, man. So
Coming down, it's coming down.
Come on.
the ship, hold on. The ship is communicating with the antenna right there. See the antenna on top? See that sucker? It's honing in on a signal from that. It's kind of like an ILS from an airplane. Similar idea. But the axis are a little different. We're not landing like this. We're landing like that, you know? Yeah. It's... Bruh. So, dude, that thing is 220 feet tall. It's a 22-story building. The tower is 500 feet tall. Basically a 52-story building. It's, what is that, like 150 meters tall? It's ridiculous. It's this whole thing is nuts. Yeah, Tessa, for sure. All systems, I mean, knowing SpaceX, they're probably using multiple redundant systems. I wouldn't be surprised if Super Heavy had a downward facing radar from like an airplane like grafted onto the side. That's what Falcon 9 did back in the day. I mean, that's what Falcon 9 still does. There's like it has a downward looking radar and it's looking for the landing pad. It's a downward scanning radar. Yeah, that booster flew twice, didn't it? It's our replacement for the shuttle. Yeah, man. So, Elon said the catch on Flight 6 probably would have worked even with the damaged antenna. Yeah. Conservative parameters, Kate, are always a thing with test flights. You don't, the antenna might work, it might not work, right? The booster might land, it might not land. You only have one launch pad. So if the antenna, it might be good enough, but if the antenna is bent, don't bother, right? Like, you don't want to run when you're doing this type of testing, you don't want to run the risk of blowing up your test stand or launch pad, right? Ship 36 in Massey's, right? Good example of why that's a really bad idea. It completely changes your flow state, your like product flow, right? If you can't launch, you're building a rocket, and the rocket's designed to launch a lot. You can't launch a lot if you don't have a launch pad, right? But yeah, I'll bet you, yeah. I mean, that booster divert during Flight 6 looked fine. Like it landed to me. It landed mostly intact. But yeah, that's, I firmly believe, dudes, that Starship will... Well, when Starship does what the shuttle does. Now, I know it's a little bit different, right? Shuttle got its first stage back. It got the boosters back. I understand booster refurbishment. I get it. And then, obviously, it got its second stage back. Well, it's more of like second stage smart reuse, if we had to put a name on it. It jettisoned its engine section. Its engine section is just attached to the thing that comes back, right? And then the external tank burns up. Mostly reusable, right? When SpaceX gets a ship back, and I say when, it will happen, barring some catastrophic civilization-ending event like Chicxulub or whatever, right? Like the Chicxulub is the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. When SpaceX does it, I think it will eclipse my love for the space shuttle. Yeah. Dude, the shuttle launches were as special as Starship launches. Yeah, they definitely were. Every shuttle launch was a treat, dude, if it decided to launch. Did you see the SpaceX job application, and do you think that AI will do that someday, or will the ship, or if the ship will have it? So that SpaceX AI researcher position is not for guidance systems, Mill. That SpaceX large language model job posting is for data refinement. Believe it or not, if you go and read it, it's there so SpaceX can use large language models to train to make rockets more reliable, basically. That's the right way to say that. It's not like they have an AI that's gonna an AI that's gonna control Falcon 9 and have Falcon 9 fly wherever it wants to. No, there's no need for that. What they will do is use the AI to comb through the mountains of telemetry, the terabytes of telemetry that gets downloaded every time a SpaceX rocket flies, and use that to look for anomalous data and weird parameters and stuff. I mean, SpaceX already has something like that. Every Falcon 9 flight gets downloaded onto SpaceX servers. And I'm talking all the telemetry, all the engine stat, everything. From every Falcon 9 flight. They've launched over 500 of them. That is petabytes of data. And SpaceX already has a system, I don't know what you'd call it, a neural net maybe, that compares every single Falcon 9 flight to every single other Falcon 9 flight. And every time a new flight is added, it compares everything against everything. That's how SpaceX is able to achieve such high flight reliability. You really don't hear of Falcon 9 having problems. It does every once in a while. But for the most part, nope. It's because they're refining the telemetry and the parameters constantly. And every single flight gets compared against every other flight for anomalous data. So like if an engine produced too much thrust, or if there was too much pressure in a line, or something didn't get up to temperature or whatever. They're already using neural nets to do, yeah, it's called XL. Yeah. It's a little more complicated than that, as I'm sure you can attest to that. But yeah, they're using AI for data refinement, most likely to comb through the mountains of data that happened during like a Starship flight or any other thing, to optimize to make flying more reliable. Do you believe the 3-week statement by Elon is reasonable for Starship? I mean, it's probably going to be a month. 3 weeks is in the realm of possibility. You got to understand, Elon thinks in like statistics. That's how I've been following him for a long time. Guy's brain works in stat. When he says 3 weeks, he says if everything goes right, we could have it done in 3 weeks. That's what that means. It is very unlikely that everything goes right with aerospace engineering. That doesn't happen all the time. So take that, times it by Martian time, you get about a month. It's true. When he says it can get done in this amount of time, that means there's going to be no catastrophic roadblocks. You know, that everything needs to go right. But that very rarely happens when you're trying to push the envelope like that. It's very rare. I would say about a month, Trey, yeah. You need permission from moderators in chat to post links, Shavy. Oh, you wanted to see some Axiom stuff. Yeah, I got you. Hold on. Erudite about the booster catch. Given the length of the rails, could the landing tech be intentionally less accurate or less focused on the length of the rails and and lets it be more accurate up and down and side to side of the chopsticks and increasing accuracy in those directions, would it not make a difference? Whatever accuracy they're running now seems to be working pretty damn well. The Aussie Rocket had a 24-hour scrub, Cryonickel. But check this out, guys. My buddies over at NSF got some pretty good footage. Jay DeShetler had some pretty good footage of Axiom 4. Axiom 4 came back from the ISS this morning. And the way it re-entered was coming from the northwest, heading southeast out over Southern California. And there were some pretty good shots. Yeah, 11, something like that. So this was at 2:30 Pacific time. Oh man, that's pretty awesome. I wonder where Jay watched this from. It's pretty cool. It's pretty crazy because Sen, who has a high definition camera on the ISS, the company that has a high def camera on the ISS got it from above. This is looking down at Earth. So Jay is in this picture somewhere going by. Look at that. I think that other thing that was re-entering down there is the trunk, but I'm not sure. Yeah, see? There you go. Wow. It's pretty sick. So
descent rate nominal.
The crew did come back. They had 4 good mains, and they did splash down here.
Main chute descent rate nominal, 1,000 meters for Dragon.
We copy 1,000 meters.
Great visual confirmation as well.
This is looking inside of the parachute compartment, looking up.
Have deployed. Again, we are going to be slowing down the vehicle from 350 miles per hour all the way down to just about 15, 16 miles per hour by the time that the vehicle touches down and splashes down into...
Sen said it wasn't a reply below the tweet.
Nominal.
Cool.
Copy. Main chute descent rate nominal, 1,000.
There you go. So they did come back down, and my buddies from NSF have all the good clips. There's a picture of splashdown from the NSF stream this morning.
And working their way. And Axiom support teams that will be present for the next phase of our splashdown coverage today.
Foggy crew splashed out.
Yep, there it is. And then, because it's a Dragon recovery mission, we have to see the guy go off the side.
There we go.
Any idea what those X's are?
There we go.
X's?
Yeah.
That has to be this footage right here.
Meters for Dragon.
Those things? I don't know.
We copy.
Katra, I honestly have no idea. They might be vents. I mean, this is clearly infrared, so whatever it is, it's hot. So they might be relief vents in the chutes.
Copy. Main chute descent rate nominal.
Inside of the parachute bay. Whatever it is, it looks like somebody marked it with a Sharpie. I have no idea. Bumpers to hold the parachute in place, maybe? Logos? So S, you're thinking about installing Arch Linux on your laptop because PewDiePie told you to. Can anyone here please convince me not to? You do you, man. I, you do you. PewDiePie still posts videos, dude? Isn't he like doing retirement or something? I was watching the VOD earlier and someone asked you about plume expansion at different specific impulse. I asked Brock to visualize it. You grokked it? Yeah. See? It would expand straight and then out. So I wasn't too far off, man. Those just look like nuclear explosions, though. Interesting, yes, Master. Parachutes are reusable. Yep, yep. If you have to ask, should I install Arch, the answer is no. YouTube chat says no. Yes, for I wasn't too far off, dude. I actually had to sit there and think about it. Seacracken asked me that was a very tough question for me to be put on the spot for, man. I was like, logarithmic specific impulse. You know, like I'm surprised some smoke didn't come out, you know? You know, but the Axim crew did come back and they are home safe. They spent 18 days up on the space station. I said 2 weeks yesterday for Space News. It was actually 18 days. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty good re-entry footage. I want to see that footage from Jada Shetler again. Hold on one second. Just let me. So can you believe that? In this picture, the ISS is up there somewhere. The ISS is up there and sends cameras looking down at it. I got to make you think at least once a week. It's in the quota. Dude, that was a tough one, man. Like, that was one of the harder questions I've been asked. I'm like, you know. The ISS footage of re-entry was chef's kiss. Yeah, no, that was a good one. That was a good one. Surprised they did not have Jack, though, since he is from SoCal. Well, Jay was there, so. T-Man, here's an interesting question. If the shuttle was flying today and Dragon is a thing, would you have to update the docking port on the shuttle for it to dock to the ISS? No, T-Man. I would have one port with the IDA and one port without the IDA. The shuttle could come up and down. You could just attach the IDA to the shuttle. That actually, yeah, that would work. And the shuttle could leave it there. Nah, I wouldn't do that. If the shuttle was still flying and Dragon was still flying, I would have PMA3 with an ID with a docking adapter for Dragon on it and Starliner, and that would actually really complicate ISS logistics. That was a really good question. Could you dock a Dragon inside of a shuttle with the right docking port? Sure, Cheeseburger. Yeah, the port that's inside of the shuttle's payload bay would need to have the paraphernalia that Dragon needs to dock. Believe it or not, despite Dragon being an Elon Musk creation, or from an Elon Musk company, I should say, Dragon uses LiDAR dock to the ISS. Yep. You wouldn't believe it. It's actually Starliner that uses regular visual light spectrum docking paraphernalia. Starliner has the Vesta, which is Vesta to Starliner is what FSD is to Tesla. Yeah, relative navigation system. There's a camera that's just facing out the front of Starliner and it's looking for the docking port. Once it matches the image, it goes, oh, there's the docking port. It'll hone in on it and dock. Dragon, that makes Starliner able to basically dock to anything. Anything that looks like its docking port, it'll find it as long as you get it near it. It's actually pretty cool. Something that you don't think, like, because you think Starliner, like, oh, it's old. No, Starliner has a lot of trick stuff in it, dude. There's a lot of stuff. It's really tricky. It's kind of a shame because there is a lot of cool stuff in there. You know, those stupid poppet seals are what's going to get you, because there's a lot of 21st century tech in there, despite how the capsule looks. It looks like it's from 1997. Whatever, it's fine. But yeah, Dragon needs Dragon Eye. Ironically launched by a shuttle. That's actually a pretty good trivia question. Not a lot of people know that the shuttle launched a SpaceX payload to the ISS in 2010. It launched the Dragon Eye, so Dragon could find the space station. Yep. Still uses it. Just saying. So you can fake it out by hanging a poster of a docking port. Yeah. Didn't they fit a camera inside of the docking port so they could look down the axis for the shuttle? I mean, the shuttle has pretty... Yeah, I mean, that would certainly help. The shuttle has a CCTV system that you could hook up multiple cameras to. Yeah, that's good, but here, you know, hold on. Okay. Look. Give me one moment. One moment. Let me just load up the 1,000-page shuttle operations manual. Okay, cool. Docking. Yeah, shuttle station power transfer system. The space shuttle could plug into the ISS solar panels. That's the wire diagram for that. Not a lot of people know that. Unzip. Hello? Is that the TLDR version? If I could just find a display of the aft panel. Here, we can find a quick way. This will get us there quick. Yeah, here we go. All right. The page is left blank. Here we go. CCTV summary system. So you could... The shuttle had a closed circuit television system built into it. There's all your cameras. There you go. Right there. Yeah, see? Orbiter docking system center line, CTVC, right there. See? And you could bring that up on the monitors on the aft panel on the shuttle. So that's the aft panel on the flight deck. Sony. Also, that's a video camera. There's one of the cameras. They had PTZs. They had 4 PTZ cameras in every corner of the payload bay. 2 of them on the robotic arm, 1 on the docking center line. Yeah, here's the A7L panel. So this is on the back. That's the joystick for the remote manipulator system. or it could be used for docking. Dude, I'm telling you, the shuttle had some trick freaking systems built into it. Like, seriously, it's pretty damn good for even now. Here you go. R13. Yeah, so this is your docking. This is the panel, the R13U docking panel. It's on the back. It's at the back of the shuttle, in between the two windows. And this will help you get aligned along with the CCTV. You can fly the shuttle from the aft deck as well. That's what I mean. You can flip the controls, if I'm remembering correctly. You can fly the orbiter from there, or you could flip it to use the RMS. I could be pulling that out of my tail. I'd have to go look. I've read too much of this. There's the cabin pressure. So with the CCTV system on the flight deck, so that panel is right there. See? The arm had a camera on its elbow. Yeah, the arm had a camera right here. So right there, and there's one on the end. So you could you could see what it's attaching to. I'm telling you, man, this thing was really, really good. Here. Give me 1 second. One moment. Yeah, that's it's not really doing what I want. Excuse me 1 second. No. What was your favorite shuttle? I like Challenger. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that that's broken. I'm telling you, man, this thing was a monster. It's an insanely well-built machine. It's annoying that it got the rap that it did, because it's really freaking good. Here we go. This will work. This picture will work just fine. So there's your docking center controls. That sorry, I said that was the A19. That's the A2 panel. 19 is down here somewhere. Anyway, you have your docking translation control right there, and then you have your CCTV cameras here, and then you can look out the window up there. You can look out the window up there to see where you're docking. That's your RMS control on the A7. There's your CCTV controls right there. The crazy thing is like for the arm and stuff, you can see, look, you can switch the controls. So the arm can use inverse kinematics, or it could you could go full manual control, and you could individually route power to each joint manually. And you can override power to each joint on the robotic arm. It's ridiculous. So like, say you needed more bicep. There are servo power amplifiers that are built into the arm design. So if you were pulling something heavy and you needed to lift something, like pull something out of the shuttle's payload bay that was big, you could apply the power accordingly depending on the mass of the payload that you're moving. And you could do it all manually on top of using inverse kinematics, which is, once again, that is really, really, really cool. And that's a pretty damn trick control system for 1978. It's pretty good. Like Hubble, for instance, sure. There's also not a lot of people know this. Is just on a side note. If you look, it says port RMS and starboard RMS. RMS is remote manipulator system. The shuttle could carry 2 robotic arms. You could use one robotic arm to grab a payload, right? That's already on orbit. You could flip power. You could switch the RMS select to port or starboard, right? And then switch your power from one to the other. You use the amplifiers to move power to the other arm. Basically lock that arm into position, grab something out of the payload bay, and put them together. This is a capability the shuttle quite actually never used. But every shuttle flew with it, which is really, really annoying. Okay. There's the payload bay floodlights right there. I think those are lights. I forget. Really annoying. There is the passive longeron pin latch control. So that's the latch deployment system. There's the ODS power. How many lights did it have? The shuttle has 6. There's 3 sets on either side inside of the payload bay. So there's not 4, there's not 5. There's 6. Yeah, right here is your line of sight rates. So this shows that crosshair shows where you need to be, and the other crosshair shows where you are. And you can make the adjustments from that panel. You can fly the shuttle from right there, which is... Think about this. You could basically change your control point. 1978, man. It's pretty damn good. You know, how does it know? How does it know that the axis of control here? It's ridiculous. And then you could just flip this back, and then you could use the controls in front that are this way to fly the shuttle normally. You can go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It is M&M's. It's pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. And it looks like the shuttle is docked to the ISS in this picture, by the way. There's more CCTV control. That's the ODS, the Orbiter Docking System centerline camera. It has a crosshair on it. See it? See it up there? If a shuttle left a sticky note, would they not? No, that's done on a permission basis. The egg timer, I'm not sure, though. This mission is most likely towards... I was about to say it's toward the end of the shuttle program. It's sometime past 2000... Yeah, sometime past 2000. I mean, it could be 98 or 99. But yeah, it's at the ISS. There's PMA2 right there. You can see it. So this picture was taken when it was docked to the ISS. So this was on an actual mission. And the sunlight, the way the light's propagating is a dead giveaway. That shadow's way too crisp for it to be down on Earth. I know that sounds ridiculous, but... Would you be more concerned with maxing out the shuttle's limits flying in the payload bay? One HL2 thrust module to attach to a craft directly on orbit, or a solid fuel one? Oh. This is why I quit space. Too many tryhards stopped sweating. What? Was that English? Shuttle would have been much more capable and safer if it was constructed nowadays. I think that it was plenty capable and safe for 1978, or if you want my honest opinion, it's just when people don't use it correctly, it's going to have problems. Gen X does not understand our native tongue. All right, fine. Fine. This is why you don't like doing this, because everybody's a tryhard when it comes to this. I don't know this information because I just wanted to seek it out and I wanted to know everything about the shuttle. If you really want to know why I know so much about the shuttle's aft panel, it's because I built it in KSP. Okie dokie. Not the panel itself, but the control systems. I needed to understand how the shuttle's actual control systems work, so I could make my robotic arm on my orbiter in KSP work correctly. I am not a tryhard. We are not the same. Okay? We are not the same. I back engineered it using the operations manual and then implemented it into KSP. Can you build the shuttle aft in your backyard, please? I do have a welder. But I'm going to use that to make a car. Make cars, not hold on. Give me 1 second. Follow up to my phone call that I had before. Have a welder. We'll go to space. I like that. Here's a fun challenge for you. Do the shuttle guidance computer in C. No, you just want me to code stuff, and I think coding is dumb. So, well, no, that's not the right way to say that. I'm dumb. I can't do code. That's the right way to say that. I do mechanics. He sees through my plan. You know, fellas, just an idle thought. When I was like 16, I thought I was smarter than everybody else. And then it turns out I wasn't. It's good to see that that hasn't changed with kids nowadays. It's good to see that that hasn't changed. What is mechanics but physical coding? Aqualex, you could try to spin it. You could try to do as many analogies. Dude, it does not stick in my head. And I have no idea why. And I'm starting to get concerned. I've tried. I've tried to learn how to code. I took the CS50 course. I've tried. I get it. I know. I understand the logic. It just doesn't click in my freaking head. I've tried. Believe me. Anyway. Put a car in the shuttle and have people in the ISS fix it. We could do that if we had a space shuttle, you know, that wasn't operated by idiots. If anything, you're a do-hard, not a try-hard. Yeah. Pashto, how would you operate the shuttle to make it safer from foam strikes? Make it safer from foam strikes. All right, Pashto, do you really want to get into this? Like, and I'm not trying to say that, like, do you really want to do this? Like, how detailed of an answer do you want? What would I do? Operate it correctly. That's it. That's the short answer. If you use it right and use it how it's meant to be used, you're gonna you'll run into less problems. Waiting for you to model the pad for your Prometheus rocket. I used to think I was smarter than everyone. Then I started working at the best aerospace company. There are levels to this game. There's always going to be someone smarter than you, us. Always. Act accordingly. Have you used 500 if statements yet in a singular code? No. So, Graham, if you require 500 if statements, right, it'd be better to have it in an array, right? And then have that array look through the entire, like, not just run 50 if statements, right? You'd run one and you'd have it in an array, right? Like, I know, I get it. I can't do that. My brain doesn't connect the dots. No. Good. All right, cool. That means I'm still holding out hope, Predominant, that I can maybe get it right someday. Why was the first shuttle flight manned? Could they do it from the ground or with a computer? That was a use case. Levin, they wanted it to be manned. They wanted an airplane that you fly into space. So it's, remember, in the 70s, an autonomous vehicle like that was not a thing. Something like that, Tessa. But anyway, like, Pashto, how crazy do you want to get, dude? What do I mean by operating the shuttle correctly? All right, what does that mean in plain English? So operating the shuttle correctly. So the reason why the foam strikes, they did have foam strikes on the program. It did happen. But they were all inconsequential except for one, except the one on STS-107. Now, why did that happen? That happened because the foam delaminated from the external tank, because the external tank was really only designed to be filled up once or twice. STS-107 scrubbed like 7 times. 7 times. The foam started cracking at the front of the basically at the shuttle forward bipod strut, because the thing was tanked and detanked and tanked and detanked. Foam likes to come off there, right where the shuttle's front bipod strut is. The reason why it does that is because that is right where the hydrogen tank meets with the intertank. The intertank usually had purged nitrogen inside of it, GN2. It's the open volume in the space shuttle's external tank design between the LOX tank and the hydrogen tank, right? And what happens is your nitrogen, GN2 is not the same temperature as hydrogen, right? So you had there's a huge temperature differential there. So, I mean, there's that. And then there's filling the tank and unfilling the tank and filling it up and detanking, filling it up and detanking and filling it up and detanking and filling it up and detanking, right? 7 times. Enough to cause cracks in the foam, where to the point where you probably should have destacked the shuttle, right? But nobody did that. Nobody operated it correctly. They just said, "No, that foam looks fine." And when I say cracks, it's not anything that's visual. They're microscopic cracks. They're enough to delaminate the foam on the way up and have it come off. And that's what happened. Nobody thought, we've scrubbed this 7 times. Maybe we should check everything. No. Nope. They just left it out on the pad and sent it. And the foam on the front bipod strut came off and hit the wing. It hit the wing leading edge. That's the end of that. I would like to add, on top of all that is a 1 in 1,000 scenario. Easily. Columbia is a freak accident. 100% of the time. That you could launch 1,000, well, statistically, you could launch 130 more of those things, and that would never happen. 134, if you really want to be technical. Right? That is a freak accident. It never happen again. You could launch thousands of shuttles. That would never happen. So how would I prevent the shuttle from having more foam strikes if I was operating the shuttle? I'd start with using it like an airplane, because it's an airplane that flies into space, not a rocket, because that's what it was intended for. That's what its use case for. That's what its use case was for. It's supposed to be an airplane that flies into space, so treat it like an airplane, right? There is no scenario where a pilot is going to get inside of an airplane and not do some form of pre-flight check. Right? That's what I mean. How about we use it correctly? Maybe that wouldn't have happened. Go figure. No, Sea Kraken. They never tanked and detanked an ET that many times. That's what I mean. You're in completely uncharted territory there. No one thought to take that stack back and look over it. Nobody thought it. You've never scrubbed a mission 7 times. That'll be fine. Your external tank's designed to be used once, maybe twice. Why did it scrub 7 times? Other systems not being up to snuff, Trey. The shuttle was full of little stupid funnies left and right because they chose to freeze the design and just deal with the problems rather than actually fix them. Like the poppet seals, for instance. That happened on the shuttle. Oh yeah. They cooked a couple of thrusters in the 90s. That happened. And then Starliner did the same thing. Trey, it's just stuff like that, to be honest with you. One thing comes to nip you in the butt, you fix that. Another thing comes to nip you in the butt, you fix that. Another thing, etc., 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 etc. And eventually you spend all your time fixing all these things, right, that you probably should have fixed a long time ago, that you oversee the big picture and you lose a space shuttle because of it. Same thing happened with Challenger. Same idea. Also, hydrogen is a gas from hell. Yep. Hey, Argyle. You studied a bit with MIT OCW Space Systems Engineering. Cool. I like systems engineering. That's my favorite part of spaceflight. Have you heard of the new Starfall program? I've heard the name get thrown around, but I'm not 100% sure what it is. Edmana, what's up? I'll never forgive them for killing Ilian Ramon. Yeah, he yeeted that nuclear power plant, didn't he? In an F-16, if... Was it? Yeah, in an F-16, if math serves me left. Funny mission. Do you know about electric solid rocket propellant? Vaguely. Are you a qualified space systems engineer? No, I'm self-taught, Argyle. Yeah, no. I'm not an engineer. I teach people rocket science basics, and sometimes we delve into more advanced concepts. Now, I don't have a degree in any type of engineering, but I have been sitting here talking with people about space flight for the last 13 years, every day almost. You tend to accrue a good amount of information doing stuff like that. So, you know, if you put me in front of systems engineers, I can speak the language and I could probably fool my way through a good bit of stuff till they figured out, like, wait, who are you again? I'm like, I gotta go. You're an honorary engineer. I'll take that. Have you ever had a dream that you want to do so much that you could do anything? Electric SRP is a throttleable SRB propellant. Oh, yeah. Every flight needs to be a return to flight, Dan, until you get to the point where you're flying like every week and the design is matured. I would argue that from the 30-year tenure of the shuttle program, they were still figuring out things about the space shuttle, and that's bad. Look, man, let me put it to you like this. So, Dan, you know, you're an AMP. You know, dude. How much time, well, you might not know. How much time does an airplane, like a 747, how many flight test hours did that thing need? Or a 777? I would say 737, but, you know, let's take like an A320neo. How many flight hours would that thing need to get certified to move people around? A lot of flight hours. That shuttle should have been tested. It should have been robustly tested. Probably, I'd say, for the first couple of years, at the very least. They did 5 test flights, and by 1983, they were like, yeah, it's good. 5 test flights over 2 years, and they were like, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. It's the most complicated vehicle ever devised by man. Let's not test it anymore. Let's just start flying operational missions because of schedule pressure. What job is you speaking with engineers like that in the past 13 years? This job. There's a bunch of engineers in chat. Plane shifting. Sorry, it's kind of a meta thing. Look at Falcon 9, guys. Look at what it took to get that thing flying sub 2 day. They needed to launch a lot, and they needed to learn a lot. Like, you know, how many test flights would you say Falcon 9 had? And I know people are going to say, what do you mean test flights? There's like 1 or 2, right? But think about all the test flights that they used for landing. All the test flights that they did trying a new system. Slow and incremental upgrades. Falcon 9 still has new equipment getting introduced to it. After 500 flights. The point is, and this is what I mean, like the shuttle, as we get further and further out of it, in retrospective, is that it was never really operated correctly. They were trying to fly it like a rocket. It's not a rocket, it's an airplane. So it should be tested like an airplane. But they didn't do that. They didn't do that. I mean, Uncle actually already said it. They didn't do it because they didn't have the money to do it. But they don't tell you that part. Good news is that NASA learned its lesson and is applying it to SLS. Picking up your sarcasm. The best thing to test is make things as flawed as possible and see what happens. Test for maximum yeet every time. Rip, yep. Wasn't it like 20 flights before they landed? Booster 1019 was the first Falcon 9 to land. So, I mean, not every one of those 20 prior were testing a landing dam, but a lot of them were. Ares 1 would have been safe to fly crew with electric SRP. What? Ares 1 was fine the way it was, Ator. It's fine the way it was. The reason why Ares 1 gets a bad rap is because they were still solving design problems. Its design wasn't entirely frozen yet. Because NASA was attempting with Constellation to do iterative design. Or at least a semi-iterative design with Ares 1X, Ares 1Y, and then the first Ares 1 flight. They were going back to semi-iterative testing. Which is similar to how they did Apollo. Ares 1 was in development and it was canceled mid-development. That's why it gets a bad rap, because the engineering problems when the project was canceled became public because the project got canceled and everybody figured out that, oh, it's death trap. It's not a death trap. It would have been fine. A little shaky ride, but it would have been fine. Why did Constellation get replaced with Artemis? It was seen as too expensive at the time, Lemon. Coming out of the Great Recession, the Great Recession, and the president at the time didn't think NASA should do stuff like that. I mean, in the case of failure, it would kill the crew with the conventional SRP setup. So, Ator, what you're doing is not how engineering works, man. That's not... Ares 1 was using a triple O-ring design. Surat, 22 month resub. He was using the triple O-ring design that was designed post-Challenger. Those SRBs aren't failing, dude. Like... I'm sorry, they're not. You seem to be hung up on the SRBs failing. Ares 1's SRBs would not fail. They would not fail. They used off-the-shelf shuttle hardware, which has tons of flight heritage behind it. They wouldn't fail. So implementing a throttleable SRB, like an electric SRB or whatever you're talking about, dude, is something that's a redundancy. You're making the vehicle more complicated. You have a solid rocket booster. It's not complicated. Solid rocket booster works. At the time, it would have had 30 years of flight heritage behind it. Why add something to that? That makes it more complicated, dude. That's not a way to do that. Adding complications to your engineering design. Adding things in the name of safety won't necessarily make things more safe. Case in point is the shuttle itself. They made the shuttle way safer after Challenger. You can implement all that stuff as much as you want. You got to operate it correctly, but you're adding complications to a design that doesn't need it. The shuttle boosters, the five segment triple O-ring Clevis SRB is fine. That design works great. When will the new Glen booster successfully land? I think Blue has the expectation that they're going to get the next one back, so. You know, Aitor, in case of failure, what does that mean? What does that mean in case of failure? The SRB ain't failing. It's not failing. It has 30 years of flight heritage behind it. I will take 30 years of flight heritage over a retrofitted system that makes it safer that you've never tested before. I'd rather fly on one without that. Another thing that could fail and lead to complete vehicle destruction, and the burning propellant could kill the crew. Once again, why are you so hung up on the SRB exploding? What's that about? I don't know where are you pulling that out? Like, what do you... You're implementing a system that makes the thing more complicated, that's going to make it less safe in the name of safety. That doesn't make any sense. So what you're saying is that ultimately past the point is the human element, it's the human element that matters the most? More or less. And also, Ares 1 had a launch abort system. Just, like, I don't understand. Didn't seem to work when they tested that SRB gimbaling recently. What was that test? That was a new booster design with 0 flight heritage. I mean, I'm not trying to say, like, Aitor, don't get confused. I'm not trying to say that, like, electric SRBs or whatever that is stupid or something. I'm just saying implementing it on Ares 1 in the name of safety when the vehicles would have, like, that's weird. Why? What do you mean in the name of safety? Like, that you could make a use case with a totally different vehicle having this implemented from the start in the name of safety, but SRBs are pretty damn well understood. They only have 2 moving parts. I mean, Northrop Grumman doesn't seem to understand them very well right now, but, you know, hey, we're progress. So you should have tested it more. It isn't the SRB exploding. It is something else failing, leading to catastrophic aero forces that would lead to complete vehicle explosion. You lost me, dude. I have no idea what you're trying to say. I think if I had to guess that you're trying to say that this electric SRB could be implemented to make a SRB safer. And my question would be back to you. Complicating a vehicle's design, especially when it comes to your main propulsion, does not necessarily make it safer. That makes the design more complicated. You're dealing with more complicated systems engineering at that point because there's more things on it. More things on the vehicles, more things that can fail. Think about that when you think about what being safe actually means. I stream on YouTube and on Twitch, Plane Shifter. Yeah, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth. If I look this way, that's YouTube. If I look that way, it's Twitch. Did you understand what electric solid propellant is? I have a vague understanding of it, but yeah. Either way. Yeah, it could be, you could put it on Ares 1 and it could fix all the problems. Sure. I mean, I guess if you like, I don't really understand where this conversation is going, but anyway, I'm going to move on. That's cool. I'll look into it, dude, okay? Interesting. I mean, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying here. But, let's see. Throttling is achieved by varying the voltage applied across the propellant. The use of ESV as a thruster replacement for in-space liquid thrusters is presently at TRL 2 or 3 based on the limited data on extinguishment and reignition. Demonstration of extinguishment and reignition of a 1-inch to 5-inch diameter motor will constitute component foundation up to 4 for in-space propulsion. Etor, this is pretty cool, dude. That's pretty neat. In the future, you could put this on some type of vehicle. Heck, if I'm reading this right, it looks like you could put it on, you could use it as your reaction control systems too, which is very interesting. I don't know, man. That, placement of cold gas in monopropellant systems. You could. I mean, I wouldn't. This is just more things that can go wrong, especially on a launch vehicle. Now, using it for like an RCS or something, maybe that'd be kind of cool. What's M-Power and Tracers and others? It's a small sat. It's for thruster use. Scaling it up to main propulsion might be possible, but not the current use case. Yeah. Hey, Karmas, what's going on? Yeah, long time. Are you streaming the Vandenberg launch tonight? Which one is that? Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, this one. I'm going to try to go till this one, to KF01. I want to see Falcon 9 launch Amazon satellites into space, because that's very funny to me. So we got plenty of stream left, dudes. Yeah, no, there's no doubt that that's cool. And if this is what HR's talking about, that's pretty neat, dude. Yeah, but I don't think that would be... The point that I'm getting at is that, like, I wouldn't use this for main propulsion. Maybe thrusters or something, sure. I wouldn't be using that for your main propulsion system. I mean, you could if the technology scales, but wait till that gets to TRL 5 and then figure it out, because it sounds like this is only used for quick ignites and extinguishment. So, like, it doesn't seem like it's used for constant burn. But what do I know, man? I just stream on Twitch. Who knows? And YouTube. What does Amazon use their satellites for? It's an internet satellite constellation, Ori. That, yeah. I have a theory on what Project Kuiper is used for. I'll give you my theory. I don't know if that's exactly it. But I'm pretty sure Project Kuiper is there as a backbone to connect Amazon data centers together with faster latency. That's my guess. I don't think they're competing directly with Starlink. But yeah, I mean, it is for AWS, yeah. It's for better interconnectivity between web services, which is actually a pretty smart thing to do. You know, because everybody kind of looks at Project Kuiper and says, oh, that's just a Starlink ripoff. It's not. No, it's not. It's a totally different thing. It's more back-end. It's more, like back-end stuff than it is user-facing, like Starlink is.
Go at throttle up.
Stupid stream question. Do you find your younger demographic on YouTube versus Twitch? You guys don't tell me your age, Flip Up. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of mixed. Can Starship dock to the ISS? Not currently. Could it do it in the future? Yeah, maybe. I guess dark fiber wasn't enough for them. Competing with Starlink would be tough, and SpaceX would be disincentivized to launch with their competitors. They've done it before, Ori. SpaceX has launched more OneWeb satellites into space than OneWeb has. I always thought the age of the account owner would be in your stats. You know what? It might be Sewer Rat. I'd have to go look it up. I don't really get that into the weeds with analytics, dude. The reason why is because I know me. If I go into it, I'm going to micromanage things and I'll min-max the analytics and try to... that turns the stream into something that's not this. And I don't look at that. I could probably get that information, though, if you guys really wanted to know. All the shuttle talk. I really wanted to share a site I seen on Monday, but I can't find it. Somewhere along the highway to the Split airport in Croatia, someone has put an old, looked like Chrysler Voyager on a roof, painted it all white with wings and 3 engines and a vertical stabilizer. I've seen a picture of that before, Slimbo. Yeah. Revue, do you think you mentioned before it's 25? I mean, we're definitely covering a subject that appeals to the 18 to 35 male demographic, but that doesn't mean that there aren't data points that are outside that. EJ uses hip language to interact with the younger viewers. I might throw up. Scooby-Doo toilet, Idaho, France. Block. Whatever. That's what you guys say, right? Scooby-Doo. Rubber Raggy. I wonder what Rocket Lab Flatellite is going to do. They're offering it as a satellite bus that they can sell to people that want to do internet satellite constellations for cheap. EJ is the literal personification of hello, fellow kids. No. Surat, you're getting confused. The hello, fellow kids thing is an effort to fit in. I am mocking younger generations. Very big difference. If you want them to riz the next gen viewers, no, I am not doing that. You're rizzing my Scooby-Doo toilet. You're way out of the data point at 57. I mean, to be fair, I'm out of my own demographic data point. I'm out of my own demographic myself, David, at 37. So. No, that's Gen Alpha. Yeah, you're all the same to me. Damn kids. No, I don't say Skibbity. I say Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo toilet. Got to rhythm with the tism. I was rhythming with the tisming before that was even a statement, man. Idaho Twizzlers. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that, CW. Kids, I'm older than you. No, you're not. Damn kids. The kids these days even know who Scooby-Doo is? I don't know, man. Getting that riz up with your aura farming. Get off my lawn, damn kids. What just happened? Don't worry about it. I'm 26 and this is Cantonese to me. Yeah. I will say this, Big Poops. There are kids that live on my street, and one of them showed me, I think it was a meme, and they were like, dude, look at this. And it was the first time that someone showed me something from the internet. This was like, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago or something. It was the first time somebody showed me something from the internet and I genuinely had no clue what the hell was going on. They were like, look at this funny thing. And I'm like, why is that funny? Oh, crap. Oh, crap. You know? Was it the kid on the boat doing the aura dance? Yeah. No, I know that one. No, yeah. I forget what it was. I forget what it was. I looked at it, I was just like, is this supposed to be funny? And they were like, I'm like, that's what the hell? I don't get it. And that's when I was like, oh no. Man, I've understood internet memes for the last 25 years, man. Actually, it's 27. I really first got on the internet in like 97, 98. I was but a wee lad. I forget what it was, T. Stewart. It was something dumb. Anyway, there isn't that much more space news. There is this. Where do you farm aura? In my garage. My garage. You farm aura by cool actions. I do cool things in the garage and post it on the internet for people to see. I understood the assignment, okay? Master, you're really disappointed in Elon about Grok 4. We were promised AI anime cat girl waifus, and all we got were normal AI anime waifus. You're part of the last generation that will say, get off my lawn. Kids can't afford houses. He said, oh, that's too real. Stop. Stop. Oh, the internet messed with my brain over the years. I've been terminally online since the 90s. Take with that information what you will. You farm aura in the Scooby-Doo toilet. In Scooby-Doo toilet. Idaho, potato. France, Glock. 1990 was 35 years ago. Yeah, so... No, it's not Idaho. It's Ohio. No, it's Idaho. That's the joke. Boy. The squirrel, please help. Somebody help. Cities tonight. I think it might be time. You just got back from 5.5 hours of training for cardiac pulmonary resuscitation. I'm now certified to do cardiac pulmonary resuscitation on an adult child and infant. I don't even know if that's the acronym for it, but whatever. It is now. Do you check how much you paid for the house when you got it and what it's worth? Checking equity in your home, yes. Reach fell 15 years ago. Ah, don't tell me that. Did they tell you to pulse to the beat of the Bee Gees? Staying alive. Did they do that one? Bro, this is a stream about rocket science. We are in constantism in here, okay? That's just kind of how it works. Do you know what a Lamar Jackson edit it is? I know Lamar Jackson's a quarterback. MSC tonight or cities with Mr. Yak? It's probably just going to be cities. I'm not sure where Jack is. Oh, nice, Flacken. That's cool. Just do it to Sandstorm. We want to resuscitate them, Wasp. We do not want them to have a stroke. Yeah. Cities time? Let's do it. Lycan, did they also teach you artificial respiration? Did you learn that? You also got trained on AEDs. That's cool. Rescue breaths are only required on infants, and yes. Do you want to know where I learned artificial respiration? French class. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. All right, let's go play some cities. I get it! French class! Yes, all right. Thank you. Ooh la la! Were you watching French in action? No. I'll be right back. Jogging the VOD over on YouTube. Be back in a couple minutes. I hope you enjoyed Space News. Bye-bye.